Friends, today I wish to talk to you on two important issues, ethics and corporate social responsibility. In principle, corporate social responsibility emanates from ethical behavior on the part of the industry, but because now it has a legal status also, so I have some separate slides dealing with legal issues connected with corporate social responsibility. I have about 30 slides, and let me share my slides now. Uh, the title of the presentation is Ethics, Social Spirituality, which to me means the same thing as ethics and the corporate social responsibility. The content of this presentation is ethical action, ethical dilemmas, protecting the whistleblower, theories of corporate social responsibility or CSR laws and guidelines, and management across cultures, or ethical issues or CSR issues across cultures. After attending this lecture, you should be able to answer the following questions. What does the term ethics mean? Give two examples of ethical dilemmas before a business manager in a chemical industry, or it may be any other industry. What is the difference between instrumental values and terminal values? What are different approaches to ethics? What is corporate social responsibility pyramid? And what is the purpose of CSR in India? Is Indian approach consistent with CSR pyramid? There are some resources. You may like to go through the original resources for more in-depth understanding. Now, coming to ethical action, what is ethical action? In simple terms, it is right action, an action done for the benefit of society and not self. Selfless action done for the interest of society or others. Includes actions done with honesty, fairness, service, and integrity. Wise action in the sense that it makes one successful in the long run by winning over the trust of others, especially in the present day volatile market. For example, doctors who follow codes of ethics are more successful or popular in the long run, even if they are only MBBS and not MD, as compared to those highly qualified, especially doctors, fellows, who do not follow ethical behavior and who are not so much trusted by the patients. What is ethical for an individual in general? Although we are more interested in organizing behavior, means behavior of an individual in an organization, but these issues are of a very general nature. What is ethical for an individual? Ethical behavior is meeting the requirements of a moral principle. So, to me at least, ethical means the same thing as moral. In traditional society, there were no ethical issues as individual behavior was governed by collective consciousness. However, in modern society is complex, marred with conflicts between individual and collective interests, different groups, role strain, role conflict or role overload, as psychologists call, and conflicts within norms. Norms and values, including the enacted laws, guide but do not determine the higher purpose of human action, which comes from ethical action. Rational considerations may often conflict with norms and values, and a man is always tested whether he goes for instrumental rationality or he goes for a value-based action. What happens if the laws are not known? Now, let us make some distinction between values and norms. Values are ends and standards of behavior. They are right, good, desired state of affairs on their own. Norms are the guidelines for behavior. Sometimes there is a conflict between the two, and it leads to deviance of various types. R.K. Martin in sociology has talked about deviance, which arises because of conflict between values and norms. A social psychologist at Michigan University distinguishes between terminal and instrumental values and use the term terminal values for the preferences about ends and instrumental values about means to attain terminal values. So the distinction that sociologists make between values and norms are the distinctions that psychologists often make between terminal values and instrumental values. Now, somebody may ask, does the concept of ethics apply to an organization also? Yes, very much. The concept of right action, often interpreted as moral action, also applies to business organizations. Organizations have some intended and some unintended consequences for society, which need moral evaluation. This lecture focuses on definition and issues connected with ethical practices in an organizational setting. The discussion will be introductory and general. If you are interested in a specific aspect of ethical behavior, then you have to go deeper and look for more literature on that. And 4 case studies that I will mention are illustrative of ethical behavior. Organization ethics demand that you earn profit. All organizations aim at earning profit unless they are non-profit or non-government or civil society or community type of organizations, but not by exploiting workers, not by polluting the air and water, not by extracting too much of groundwater, not by using poor quality raw material, not by cheating on balance sheet, and not by making false claims. This is ethics. Grow, but not by destroying other competing units or other companies or other corporate groups. Spend on the welfare of the community, but not for the legitimacy of wrong done by you. Sell a medical or health product, but not by making false claims or without disclosing its composition, side effects, and expiry date. If there is a law whose violation is common, ethics is of utmost importance, because then, because law is commonly violated, so people can be controlled or people work in the interest of society only by following a moral or ethical action. Some examples of violation of laws, but unethical conduct are not showing all your income or profits on income tax return. In many from a social sector, in many communities, arranging for daughters' marriage below the age of 18 is the norm, but it is illegal. Triple talaq and halala, etc., are the norms in certain Muslim communities, although they are illegal also today. A few years ago, they were not illegal, but they were unethical from the point of view of certain Islamic scholars. Discrimination against women, gays, and lesbians in appointments and promotions. You may not indulge in any illegal action, and all your actions, selection committees, composition, proceedings, etc., may be completely legal, but then some people may have prejudiced mind or behave unethically on the selection committees against the interests of women, gays, and lesbians. Not giving minimum wages, traffic violations, and violation of antitrust laws. There is also unethical behavior when there is no law. Contracts in film industry are often cited as an example of a situation in which we have not enacted any law as yet, but violation of contracts will certainly be unethical. For a long time in Indian academics, there were no ethical boards, rules, and ethical committees, but plagiarism was considered to be a bad practice, a deviation from the folk ways of academics that brought disrepute, and ridicule. Same is the case with sexual harassment at workplace. Exaggeration of the utility of a product in advertisement or making false claims in ads, that is unethical, that is illegal, that is that may not be illegal, but that is certainly unethical, false claim. Sometimes they are illegal also. So both law and ethics apply to them. Labor practices in voluntary organizations or home care in health, there are laws about them, but these laws are often violated, and therefore society expects you to behave in an ethical manner. After winning the election, a political party does not implement its election manifesto. Nothing can be done legally, but it's a part of unethical action. Giving biased grades to students, good or bad, this is unethical. There may be no law that can be applied against you. And in some institutions, professors have the supremacy. Professors have the final decision regarding this, but they may indulge in unethical behavior. Exploitation of invisible or contractual or irregular workers, that is those not shown on companies' official records. If you show them on large companies who show them on official records are bound by law, various kinds of laws and now called codes, 4 codes, and they have to pay minimum wages. But small companies or companies which hide the number of workers or companies which do not register with Labor Commissioner can indulge in unethical behavior by not paying the right amount or minimum wages. There are various definitions of ethics: individualism view, utilitarian view, justice view, and moral rights view. Those interested in philosophy of ethics can go deeper into it. Or you can read my slide again. What are human rights? Human rights are, to me, a good example of what is right or what is ethical or what is human or what is moral. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. No one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. Remember, as a person and not as an identity like caste, religion, region, linguistic identity, and so on. And all are equal before the law. So these are only 7. In all, there are 30 articles of UN human rights, and they like the norms developed on the basis of religions. These secular norms developed on the basis of United Nations decisions can be taken as guiding the action of different countries and groups of people. What are various aspects of justice? Procedural. Some policies and rules are applied. Same policies and rules are applied to all. If you want to give bonus, you give bonus to all categories of central government employees or all categories of workers. Distributive justice, fair distribution of rewards and outcomes, irrespective of ethnicity, race, gender, age, or other individual characteristics. For example, same pay for the same work. All those who are hired for performing same or similar work must be paid the same amount. Interactional justice, treating the other with dignity and respect. Airlines to explain when they terminate services of certain percentage of workers due to situation like COVID-19 or any other situation. Commutative justice, fairness of exchange to all parties with access to all relevant information and outcome. You should not cheat others by hiding information. A bank officer must explain clearly why he is recommending someone to go for a certain mutual fund from the retirement benefits he has received. Should he show sensitivity to the conditions of the consumer or not? I think you will say that an ethical bank officer will show sensitivity to the conditions, biographic conditions of the consumer. There is a cultural dilemma in dealing with norms and values. There is always a cultural dilemma, cultural relativism, that no culture is, there are so many cultures and no culture is superior, and therefore all values and practices in a local context are right or wrong. Moral absolutism, that certain absolute truths apply in all settings, and therefore what is right or wrong in one setting or context or organization is right or wrong in other settings, other contexts, or other organizations also. How do you resolve the cultural quandary of convergence by Christian missionaries among the primitive tribes? What is ethical? The answer is obviously not so clear. It depends on what perspective you have on convergence and on Christianity. Friends, workplace ethics are analogous to educational ethics. In educational institutions, a student knows that one of his friends, imagine that a student knows that one of his friends has copied in exam, or most students have cheated in the quiz. Should he inform the teacher? Now, this is an ethical case, a dilemma. What are his considerations in taking a decision? Which considerations are justifiable? What if the student who is copying is the president of the students' union, or his senior who is going to pass out this semester? What if he is someone who can be ignored, who is not going to pass the course anyway? And a complaint comes from an employee that her colleague is harassing her and passed lewd remarks, but the colleague said that he was only joking and kidding around. These are examples of ethical dilemmas in educational institutions and at workplace. And in this situation, you may have heard this term quite often. The role of whistleblower becomes very important. Unethical actions are often beneficial to a person or an organization. So whistleblowers tell the company executive that certain company policies at lowering the cost of production may lead to deterioration of the quality of product and even be injurious to consumers. Or giving various kinds of warning that something wrong is happening, something immoral, something unethical is happening on the part of the company as a whole or on the part of some individuals in the company. Do you know that in India, whistleblowers are protected by the Whistleblowers Protection Act, which was passed in 2014? It's a very difficult issue, and to become a whistleblower is certainly to take risk, and that depends on your mental models and your capacity to take risk and environmental conditions. Management principles to check unethical practices are, if there are, the point is that if there are unethical practices, they have to be checked. What can management do? Management can guide subordinates through example. What seniors do matters a lot. Gita also says that what the great people do, the smaller people follow that. So guide through example. Then ethics training, value education, organize value education, shivers, camps for value education to all newcomers and maybe to those who are already working in the company. Information and awareness about ethical and legal matters can go a long way to make people behave ethically. Develop ethical codes. As Government of India, Labour Commissioner has developed ethical codes, legal codes for workers. You can also, an organization can also develop ethical codes for the workers. Appoint ethics committee or board. Appoint inquiry committee when needed. Take just action. If you ever find a case of unethical behavior, do not take arbitrary action. Appoint a inquiry committee, get all the details, and take action which is legally justifiable, which is legally and morally justifiable. Deal with ethical dilemmas by identifying them, collecting data, getting the legality of options judged, and ask whether your actions will be acceptable to your family. Ask yourself whether the action that you are taking will be acceptable to your family, neighbors, society, if publicized, and to ethical people. The main crux of ethics is that they are public and they are part of public or collective consciousness. Now, I will talk a little bit about corporate social responsibility. Examples are J.R.D. Tata, is personally involved in labor welfare, health, family planning. Azim Premji Foundation, Bangalore, to raise school enrollment in backward regions of Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka through Learning Guarantee Program. Ambuja Foundation, Gujarat, involved in livelihood activities near the cement plant. Singhania Education Center, Gotan, Jodhpur, Singhania, cement factories, promoting afforestation, basic facilities for the people, waste dump management, energy audit in the neighboring villages. Adani Group active in promoting health in the project districts of Gujarat. US-based Intel spends millions on school enrollment in India. Canara Bank through promoting artisans, training production and marketing centers in Karnataka and Kerala. SDFC Bank is sponsoring watershed and livelihood activities in Punjab and UP through Shramik Bharti Kanpur. And TVS Motor Company Limited taking up forest management, vermicomposting, improving socio-economic conditions of the rural poor in Tamil Nadu. So from these examples, you can very well understand what kind of corporate social responsibility organizations can undertake. Bowen, the father of CSR, defines it as follows: the obligation of businessmen to pursue those policies, to make those decisions, or to follow those lines of action which are desirable in terms of the objectives and values of our society. It shows the definition shows the relativistic nature of corporate social responsibility, because it talks about objectives and values of our society. What is right in USA may not be right in India. For example, carbon space, how much carbon is acceptable to maintain temperature within certain limits varies from one region to another. Region here means region of the world, globe. My view on CSR, that true CSR is part of voluntary action, that is even when not mandatory. If you are doing something which is mandatory, you are simply conforming to law. It's not CSR. This is my definition. Altruistic, like disaster relief. Ethical, purely in accordance with the interests and values of society. It should not be illegal and contributes to sustainable development. Equality and justice are two parts of it. Not for legitimacy of the project or keeping in view the short-term or long-term interest of the company. If you are justifying your action on the ground when not liked by the people, and you involve in so-called CSR activities, health, education, etc., etc., it's not a truly CSR activity. Carroll had made a pyramid of corporate social responsibility in a paper published in Business Horizon in 1991. It starts with economic responsibilities, legal responsibilities. So first you have to follow your economic responsibilities. Profit is one, and dividends to shareholders is another. Then legal responsibilities, or all the laws governing your procurement processes, supplies, sales, everything, human relations, HRM, then ethical responsibilities. And beyond ethical responsibilities, then come philanthropic responsibilities. In this pyramid, ethical means moral, and philanthropic means they make some small difference between the two. Philanthropic is for the benefit of larger society, even when there is no moral obligation on your part to behave in that manner. In India, this is corporate social responsibility is part of corporate rules. It was initiated on 1st April 2014, and it is mandatory for certain companies. The companies on whom the provisions of CSR shall be applicable are contained in subsection 1 of section 135 of the Companies Act 2013. As per the said action, the companies having net worth of Indian rupees 500 crore or more, or turnover of Indian rupees 1000 crore or more, or net profit of Indian rupees 5 crore or more during any financial year, shall be required to constitute a corporate social responsibility committee of the board, hereinafter CSR committee, with effect from 1st April 2014. The pictorial representation below gives the representation of section 1351. So I quoted this paragraph, and now I will again quote a paragraph. The requirements of CSR are that you set up a committee, declare its composition, and to quote, all such companies shall spend in every financial year at least 2% of the average net profits of the company made during the 3 immediately preceding financial years in pursuance of its corporate social responsibility policy. It has been clarified that the average net profits shall be calculated in accordance with the provisions of section 198 of the Companies Act 2013. Also, provision to the rule provide 3.1 of the CSR rule that the net worth, turnover, or net profit of a foreign company of the Act shall be computed in accordance with balance sheet and profit and loss account of such company prepared in accordance with the provisions of clause of subsection 1 of section 381 and section 198 of the Companies Act. So this CSR is part of the Companies Act. What kind of activities are suggested to be taken up under CSR are eradicating hunger, poverty, malnutrition. Obviously, because our country has a lot of poverty, hunger, and malnutrition, and preventive health care and sanitation, and making available safe drinking water, which is an issue for a large percentage of population. Promoting education, including special education and employment enhancing vocational skills. Nowadays, we are giving more importance to vocational skills, especially among children, women, elderly, and the differently unable, and livelihood enhancement project. promoting gender equality, empowering women, setting up homes and hostels for women and orphans, setting up old age homes, daycare centers, and such other facilities for senior citizens, and measures for reducing inequalities faced by socially and economically backward groups. So the purpose of corporate social responsibility is social or economic or financial inclusion. Reducing child mortality and improving child mortality and improving maternal health by providing good hospital facilities and low cost medicines, which will go a long way in improving our human development indices. Providing with hospital and dispensary facilities with more focus on clean and good sanitation so as to combat human immunodeficiency virus, acquired immune deficiency syndrome, malaria, and other diseases. Ensuring environmental sustainability, ecological balance, protection of flora and fauna, animal welfare, agroforestry, conservation of natural resources, and maintaining quality of soil, air, and water, and employment enhancing vocational skills. There are many more. Protection of national heritage, measures for the benefit of armed forces, training to promote rural sports, contribution to Prime Minister's National Relief Fund, contribution of funds to technology incubators located within academic institutions, rural development projects, and slum area development. Now, for implementation, the investment in CSR should be project-based. And for every project, time frame, periodic milestones should be finalized at the outset, so that you can properly monitor and evaluate the project, whether you are going in the right direction and whether you have achieved what you wanted to achieve in that project. Project activities identified under CSR are to be implemented by specialized agencies and generally not by staff of the organization. Specialized agencies could be made to work singly or in tandem with other agencies. Such specialized agencies are also specified under the law. Community-based organizations, whether formal or informal, elected local bodies such as panchayat, voluntary agencies or NGOs, institutes, academic organizations, trusts, missions, self-help groups, government, semi-government, autonomous organizations, standing conference of public enterprises, and Mahila Mandals or Samiti, and the like contracted agencies for civil works, professional consultancy organizations, etc. Some companies are believed to be ethical companies in India, and they are Wipro and Tata Steel. You can read an article on net in support of how Wipro and Tata Steel are taking up CSR activities and helping the community around the companies. Moreover, it will be interesting if you are a student of MBA or sociology and you are interested in corporate social responsibility. I suggest to read this article on net. There are 4 case studies of CSR, corporate social responsibility in India, by companies, 4 companies, Apple, Canon, Coca-Cola. Apple is working in the field of carbon emission. Canon is working in the field of workers' health and safety. Coca-Cola is working in the field of watershed, because Coca-Cola is extracting a lot of water from the ground. So they are also to partly compensate for that. They have also undertaken watershed activities in the region. Walmart work in the field of people, planet, and profit. And this article also gives a critical perspective on the above. uh, uh, identifies the merits and demerits of their approaches and the short-term and long-term consequences of their action. Thank you. The last lecture will be devoted. This was 9th lecture in 10 lecture series on managerial sociology. The last lecture, means the 10th lecture, will be devoted to management in the contemporary world. And I think that will be quite interesting. So wait for that lecture. Thank you very much. This is all I wanted to say. To summarize, this presentation is about two issues. One, ethical behavior in the context of an organization, and second, corporate social responsibility. Ethical behavior applies to both individuals and groups or organizations, while corporate social responsibility is made a law by Government of India, which is effective from 1st April 2014. Under that law, who will come under the ambit of corporate social responsibility, and what kind of activities can be undertaken, etc. And who will implement corporate social responsibility. All these things are mentioned. I hope you have become more sensitive to ethical, moral behavior. Ethical is moral, to ethical and moral behavior. You remember that, and this is commonly said, that Gandhi was against industry. Gandhi was not against industry as such. He knew that industry has much higher effectiveness and efficiency. Productivity of industry will be much, much higher than the productivity of pre-industrial sectors. And that productivity of textile industry is certainly much higher than of khadi or charkha. But he was worried about the moral consequences. Moral consequences for the environment, and mostly environment was not a big issue in his time. He was more worried about the unemployed, that these big industries will hire a small number of persons at various levels, but will render a large number of traditional workers, artisans, and manual workers jobless. So this will lead to concentration of wealth in society, and concentration of wealth in society or economic inequality is the root cause of all types of inequalities of power, prestige, and everything. So he was against that. That was a moral issue, ethical issue. Now, ethical issues today have become much more complex than they were in Gandhiji's time. And what I can say that you need to ponder on them. Nobody can specify what your action in a particular context in the industry should be, except the legal provisions under corporate social responsibility. You will always have a dilemma whether to behave like this or that, and your moral conscience will then decide what you do. Thank you.